This story should speak to everyone who finds themselves feeling restless or overwhelmed by the burden of their own comfort and wealth. In these days where we all have everything we ever wanted and yet we are still anxious and dissatisfied, this story gives a perspective on what action can do for both mind and body. Watch it, and you will be reminded that inner peace is often not about external comfort, but rather about engaging with life in a meaningful manner. Once upon a time, in a faraway city, there was a rich man who had absolutely everything that a man could ever wish for: great wealth, a great mansion, servants to help him with anything. He appeared, on the surface, to have it all. But even with all the material success, he had a hard time finding peace. He tossed and turned in his fancy bed at night, torturing himself with sleep. The mind and body would be worn out by terrible nightmares. The night never ended, no thanks to his efforts. Drowning in hopelessness, he turned to multiple doctors and healers for help. But every one of the many treatments failed to help him. Then one day the news of a wise saint visiting the city spread fast. They waxed poetic about the saint's brilliance, and how merely standing in his light could mend even the most scattered soul. Finally, hearing this, the rich man's final hope in him, and at once he asked the saint. One day, a saint was sitting under a tree when a rich man came. "Whatever I do cannot seem to provide respite. I am desperate. Please, take this pain from me." The saint listened patiently and said, "There's one reason you suffer: you're crippled." The rich man was taken aback. He turned to the saint incredulously and asked, "How are you calling me crippled? Can't you see? My arms and legs are fully functional. I have a healthy body. How can I be crippled?" The saint laughed cheerfully and said, "A crippled person is not one who is without arms or legs. A real crippled person is the one who has a body and does not use it up to the maximum. Now tell me, what more work do you do with your hands and legs?" The rich man was silent. It was never something he had thought about, not like that, not long enough to lose the truth of it in the haze. He relied fully on his servants to perform any task for him. He didn't use his own body for anything, from the time that he got up in the morning to the time that he went to bed at night. The saint nodded, as though reading the rich man's mind. "You see," he added, "you're not using your body as it was designed. To heal your mind and cure your restlessness, work your hands and legs. You have to wear your body out so much with muscles exertion that the brain gets to take a break. If you do this, your pain will end." The rich man had his doubts, yet he had faith in the saint's wisdom. The very next day he started to practice what the saint had prescribed. He began to do the things he'd always avoided: gardening, walking, lifting heavy loads, even assisting his servants with the day-to-day tasks. Gradually, he started to see a shift. Day by day of working even harder, he became stronger, and with every bit of work he did, his restlessness started to dwindle. In the weeks to come, the rich man finally slept well, for the first time in years. He had peaceful dreams, and the anxiety that had colored his life was gone. He wondered at the changes in both brain and body. It dawned on him how much he had been neglecting his own fitness, and that his inactivity had been a significant factor in his distress. Moral of the story. My favorite part of the story was where he noticed that true peace is not external comforts, but when you are fully engaged with the world around you. It is easy to become reliant on others and shy away from the work that we are capable of doing ourselves, but through reconnecting with our physical and mental potential, we can find the peace we seek. Between rest and action, therein lies true fulfillment. With serenity and peace, sometimes the greatest cure for inner discord. Unrest is to crustacean, to action, to engage Murray of the same.